Tomorrow's technology today, securely wired to the cloud. Welcome to our Microsoft 365 training series. As a gold certified Microsoft partner, we will walk you through the latest updates, tips, and tricks for Microsoft products.
Welcome to our webinar on Microsoft Viva. Today's webinar will be recorded and will be shared with you via email tomorrow morning. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them to the Q&A, and I will be watching and asking those questions of our presenters. We love your questions, and they help everyone in this webinar learn more together. Our presenter today is our very own training and project specialist, Katie Kramer.
All right, so we are going to be passing the baton around here a little bit today. We also have David Swenson on the call with us, and he is another Microsoft expert. So he is going to be actually giving the tour, but I just wanted to start us off today and just kind of talk very high level about Viva here for a minute. So it is a very hot off the press employee experience platform that brings together communication, knowledge, learning, resources, and insights. So the beauty of Viva is that it works in teams. And I know we have some clients out there, or maybe you're not a client quite yet, and you're not using Teams, but I want to let you know that all day, every day, we are using Teams for sharing information and doing our communication. So we live in it all day long. So now with Viva, we can work smarter, not harder, as well as we get the modules available for connections, insights, and topics. So learning will be available in the early spring. So I will hand it over to David, and he's going to give us a tour.
Thanks so much, Katie. It's great to be with all of you here. Viva is a really exciting topic for Microsoft. Previously, before coming into the service provider space, I actually was able to work directly with Microsoft and start developing what some of these products would be when they came out. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and we're going to start just at a high level talking about what Viva is, what all of its modules are, and then I'm going to take you and show you some things that are available to get started with today. So let me go ahead and present my screen. And hopefully this lets me share the right one. Let's see, screen 2. All right. Let me know how that looks, Katie.
Looks great.
Awesome, awesome. So what you guys are looking at right now, this is an actual device that's set up with Microsoft Viva. This is a demo tenant, and we're going to pretend that we all work for a company called Contoso today. Contoso has Viva installed, and their employees are using it. What I'm showing you right now is just a splash page, so we can go over some of the topics here. Starting off with Viva Topics, there are 4 modules inside Microsoft Viva. Today, we're going to cover 3 of them that are available immediately. These are Viva Topics, Viva Connections, and Viva Insights. As Katie had pointed out, the Viva Learning will be coming in early 2022, and we're very excited to start rolling out with that too. Viva is a whole new type of experience that's really about connecting all of your workplace knowledge, your documentation, and putting it into one central location. So for any of you that have been system admins or SharePoint administrators or work with things like metadata, Viva is going to speak to you right away. The first thing we're going to talk about is Viva Topics. So what are topics? The idea behind it is that as you're using 365, whether you're in Teams, whether you're in SharePoint, or really anywhere, context is going to pop up in front of you. What does that mean? Let me go over to my main SharePoint site right now, and I'm going to go ahead as a system admin level and actually pull up what a topic center looks like. So let me go ahead and get to that site very quickly and pull that up for you. What Viva Topics is doing is it's going to look at all the documentation, all the information that you've stored in Microsoft 365. That could be SharePoint, it could be OneDrive, it could be Teams, or it could even be your on-premise file shares if you wanted to. You could actually link to those as well. So let me go ahead and quickly pull up the site called Topic Center. When you have Viva Topics set up, your tenant will have a site called Topic Center. Now, Topic Center is going to use someone called Cortana. You may be familiar with Cortana. She's your artificial intelligence that lives inside Microsoft 365. And what's going to happen on this page is as Cortana starts to learn more and more about your environment, meaning she actually contextually understands what's in your documentation, who has access to the documentation, what the titles are, what the metadata is. She's understanding all of that kind of stuff. At the top here, I have an option to manage topics. When I go into manage topics, I'll see a whole list of items here that are just terms that Cortana has found throughout my organization. For example, Bellows College right here is a topic that was found in my company, in this Contoso. So if I click on that, I'm going to get this little context page that pops up, this little pop-up that's giving me a description of what Bellows College is. It's also suggesting people inside my company that has worked with Bellows College, so I can reach out to them if I have questions. And it's also creating a whole map of where all the content that relates to Bellows lives inside of my environment, so I don't have to keep track of where stuff is. Cortana will do that for me. Let's say we wanted more context than this. Every time a Viva topic card comes up, you're able to hit View Details. When you do that, it's going to take you to an automatically built SharePoint page about this topic, which happens to be Bellows College. You'll see right here that the description, everything on this page has been created by the system. No people were involved in designing this. Cortana comes in, she gathers the resources, and she also extracted an entire description of Bellows College from one of my documents that happens to exist in my company. And this whole page was created. So right here, I get a description of what it is. I get the people that I should reach out to regarding this topic. And if I wanted more information on, let's say, Lee right here, I could hover over Lee, and I will get an additional card about Lee to give me all of the contact information I might need. I can send an email, I could send a Teams chat, I could go to the LinkedIn profile for this individual, and I can see additional contact information too. I can also even see Lee's profile. So inside of Microsoft 365, employees can build their own profiles, with their resumes and their about me, so they can share more information with their coworkers, team members, or even guest users that they might invite into their team's environment. So that's a little bit about individuals. Now, what's really cool about topics is all the time I'm wondering, how do I get access to the content? What content do we already have so I don't have to rebuild? It's interesting. There is so much time spent in industry and in really any enterprise where people are constantly recreating content, not realizing that they probably already had a resource that existed somewhere in their files. What Viva has allowed us to do is save time by not having to redo work, because now I can see all the documents that we have that are related to this topic. I can even do a search for something like that too if I'm looking for it, because everything is indexed, everything's searchable, and you can further customize this too. As I continue to move down the page, I'm seeing a whole map of suggested sites and teams. So we'll see my sales and marketing department, my operations department, my US sales. Cortana is telling me through Viva that items for Bellows College exists on all of these teams. So I might need to be in touch with all these different individuals that are part of these departments. So it's made a network map of where they live. It's given me all the documentation, whether it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, does not really matter. And it's given me people to reach out to. Really, really amazing stuff that comes with topics pre-built in. Now, I'm showing it to you in the context of the topic center, where an admin would go to customize it, right? How do these actually show up on a daily basis? For that, I'm going to bring you over to my own homepage that we use internally here. And the reason I want to show you this is because I've already got some content in here to actually show you how Viva works, what it looks like, all that type of stuff. So let's say here I am on one of my SharePoint sites, right? You'll see stay up to date with the latest from NetLogic and My365, right? If I hover over that word, My365, you'll see a topic card pop right up. It looks like a hyperlink. It's not a hyperlink. All you have to do to utilize topics is just create your sites and content naturally, And as this word comes up, anywhere your team might see it, whether it's in Teams or SharePoint or on the web, these topic cards will always be there to give them guidance and additional context. So now if I was to come in and hit View Details on my 365, I can actually see the description that it pulled out, the people that I should talk to, and all the documentation that relates to it, as well as all the locations where content related to this topic lives. Really, really helpful stuff. Katie, is there any questions or things you might want to add in on topics?
I don't see any questions in the chat quite yet, but
Awesome.
Please feel free to use the Q&A if you guys
Awesome.
have questions.
Let me jump back over to my virtual machine. The really big benefit of this is it used to take months, days, depending on how big your organization is, to create content centers like this, to be able to organize and classify content. Now it happens in a matter of weeks after you just activate your license for Viva Topics, and Cortana immediately starts to get to work. Some things that are important to note: you as a company administrator have full control over who sees your topics, who can edit the topics, and your topics will always respect permissions that you've established inside your company. Meaning, if I didn't have access to some Bellows documents here, now I happen to be an administrator of this tenant that I'm showing you, so I'm going to see everything. But maybe if I didn't have access to the operations team or the US sales team, then I wouldn't see any document surface to me without first being granted implicit access to those areas. So Topics respects all of the permissions that you've already worked hard to set up across your organization.
So I'm sorry, David. So would people know that those departments even exist? Or how would they know to request access?
Yeah, great question. So really, it's if you're a member of a team, so when you actually set up a Microsoft team, we generally set those up based on division of labor. So whatever your role might be, we'll create a team for operations, we'll create a team for sales and marketing, and whoever is on that team membership will automatically have visibility into that content. How you actually know that that exists would be up to your supervisor, manager, or IT leader to actually add you into that content when you first come on board.
Thank you.
No problem. That is Topics in a real nutshell. It plays in hand with the rest of the Viva suite, because Topics by itself, it's like, oh, okay, that's fun. It's not too interesting. It's very exciting. But when we look at it in context of the rest of the Microsoft 365 suite and the rest of the Viva module, you're like, whoa, I don't have to really do much work at all. I can get to all of my content no matter where I am and when I am. And I don't even have to search for it anymore. There's also another part of Viva that I really get excited about, and that is Microsoft Search, which is part of this whole Viva employee experience. Let's say I wanted to do a search for Adele Vance, right? Adele is somebody in my organization. Now I'm just using a regular web search right here, right? And I'm getting web results like you would normally see, Adele Retail, LinkedIn, all that stuff. But because I'm connected to Microsoft 365, I'm also getting results from my own company right up at the top of the page here. So Cortana is showing me who Adele is, what her position is, all the contact information, any recent documents that we may have worked on together that might concern me. And I can even see where Adele fits into the organization. I can browse the entire organizational hierarchy right from this web page, so I'm never without my context. And that's what Viva is all about, is providing you context in the moment so you stay in the flow of your work, right? If I was looking for something else, let's say Bellows College, and I was looking for documentation on that. Now I can look and see all the standard web results that I have, but I can also just click my work tab right up at the top here. And here's Viva in search at work for me again. Now, forgive me, this is a demo. I don't have everything completely set up, but this is where it would show you all the different information and surface all that content for you without having to actually go find it. So your search is always at your fingertips, and your context of your information is always at your fingertips with Viva. And all of this works across PC, mobile, Mac, web. It does not matter which device or which platform you use.
So how smart is this system if we're looking for, let's say that we have 3 guys named John, at our company? Like, does it pull up each John or vice versa if you don't know a last name, things like that?
Yep, exactly. So if I was to do John and just search for that in work, it's going to say, oh, well, we don't have a John in your company, but we found a Joni. Is that close? And then it'll also show you more people results right from here. So it will search your entire organization instantaneously. Over on the left here, you can also see that you have filters. So you can search for all types of content, which include people, groups and teams, different sites that you might have access to, files that you might be a part of, and even conversations that you've had in teams. So text messaging, messaging back and forth, meetings you've been in. So all of that is here to sort and filter through, and it's now your one place to search for everything.
So that information that it returns on employees, where is that coming from?
Great question. This is all coming from your user profile that your manager or IT support person would set up when you first get onboarded to the company.
So is that within Azure?
Yep, exactly. Right in your Azure Active Directory, that's where you would configure all those things. So you can fill out things like your role, your position, your department, all those different things. And it pulls right into this system.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem. Another thing to note is if you are working for a larger organization or you're in a larger organization and you wanted to give your users the ability to update that information by themselves, you could absolutely do that too. So the users can go in and customize their own profiles, or you can rely on your IT manager to do it. All right. The next topic that I want to go into is Viva Connections, and this is where things get really interesting. SharePoint is a huge part of Microsoft 365. There are two places really to store your documentation, right? And to show this, I like to go back to my traditional desktop here. So when I open up my File Explorer on my desktop, you're going to see a couple of places to save data. One of them is SharePoint, which is indicated by a blue office building with the name of your company. So we said we're working at Contoso, so we see Contoso here. These act as what used to be your traditional file share drives. Maybe you had an H drive or a Z drive or a P drive or something like that. Now we have our design drive and our sales and marketing drive, right? These are our shared documents between that entire team. The other place to store data is going to be the user's OneDrive for Business. OneDrive for Business is private to the end user until you choose to share it. Note that company administrators can always access other team members' OneDrive for Business if they need to, but that is only for administrative purposes, right? This area is designed to be private to you. The other benefit of this is your entire desktop, documents, and pictures are constantly backed up to your OneDrive. So no matter which device you're working from, your entire experience will move with you. Even if you're using it on an iPhone or an Android device too, you'll still be able to instantly get to your desktop documents and pictures. So the difference between those two, OneDrive is your personal directory, SharePoint is your shared directory by default. One of the other big benefits of SharePoint is that you have the ability to actually put in, you have the ability to actually put in sites, portals for your end users to use. With these portals, you can make what we call landing pages. So if I was to come in to my Teams right here, one of the options that's part of Viva is called Connections. What Connections is it allows me to bring my entire SharePoint experience right into Microsoft Teams. So the real big benefit and the real big push that we're trying to go after is you shouldn't have to open up a million different applications to get done one thing. We want to create an environment where your team members could realistically have one, maybe 2 or 3 apps if they need it. But the idea with Viva is that your team members will never need to leave Teams to get their work done. Now, in our demo environment, this icon is just a blank square. Note that when we roll it out to you, it will actually have your company's logo. So it'll be very clear right here that this is your landing page. When I go ahead and click on that, you'll actually get the full SharePoint experience in here. A landing page is designed to be your organization's hub, right? So this is where your company news is going to go. This is where your time off requests might go, or something to that effect, right? Everything that people should have access to will be aggregated right inside this site, and it's fully customizable too. This is of course just a template just to show you what's possible with the pages, but we have articles and news that we're looking at here. We have our latest events and webinars that we've done, so everyone in the company can get access to them and see them. And we've even got social discussions going on with tools like Yammer and Teams, so you can have chat-based rooms between your employees, sharing content back and forth. It's all aggregated right into this one portal. Tons and tons of opportunity. The other thing is, Topics is also going to play with this. So if in this paragraph here, one of our words was actually a topic, I'd actually be able to hover over right from here and get more information on that word meetings, right? And have more detailed about it. So all you have to do to really use these tools is just to work naturally, and they'll work with you. It doesn't require adaptation really at all, and that's the point of it. Lots of things you can do with SharePoint too. So SharePoint is going to allow you to really create that holistic intranet experience. That's what SharePoint's really doing. So it's a centralized intranet for your entire internal team to access all of their content, and Connections brings it all right into Microsoft Teams. So whether you're using your PC, whether you're using the web, your iPhone, your Android, or your iPad, the Teams experience is going to be consistent and have all these same options present no matter where you choose to work from or when you choose to do that work. Another thing to point out too is there's no complex networking configurations required to set these things up. No need for VPNs, no need for tunnels or anything like that. It's all just going to work directly through your modern Microsoft authentication with your email, password, and multi-factor. Very simple stuff that we're all accustomed to by this point. Any questions, Katie, on the Viva Connections page? I could spend a lot of time going into all these SharePoint features, but I really want to get to the fun stuff, which is insights.
No questions in the chat right now, so if you want to keep going, and then we'll catch some questions at the end.
Awesome, perfect. The next topic that we're going to close on today, or at least our last topic that we can show you, is called Insights. And as Katie mentioned out, there is a learning module too, which will be your entire learning management system. That's not quite out yet, but it will be out very soon. Insights is the last topic here, and that's also an app that's built right into Teams. This is taking a combination of topics, it's taking a combination of connections, and it's utilizing Cortana's intelligence to look across things like your calendar, documentation you've worked on recently, your emotional intelligence, right? How healthy are you at work right now? Are you burnt out? Should your managers know that you're burnt out if you want to communicate with them? Are you working too much and not having that clear separation between work and personal life, which became a really big challenge during the pandemic, right? With so many people working remotely, we found it very hard to disconnect from work and resume our personal life after that 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or whenever you end your workday happen. So Insights is part of the whole Viva experience. And this is a dashboard really designed for you as an individual as you use the service. You can choose to share this data with your leadership, but all of it is private. Even system administrators don't have the ability to come in here and access this data because it really is about you as an individual and helping you better plan for your workday. So what does this page look like? Right up at the top here, you're always going to get either a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and it's going to display your next calendar event coming up. Now, I don't have anything coming up on this demo calendar right now, but I would immediately get a briefing about what my next event is, who's going to be on it, and relevant documentation that I might need that Viva has found for me to use during that meeting. Over here, where it says, build a habit of emotional awareness. Viva actually has the ability to help you as an individual track your overall, mental health, making sure that you're just feeling good. I'm going to pull this up in the context of mine because I have some data in there and I want to actually pull that over. So when I pull over my insights here inside my Teams, I can see that I have all of these options to say, how are you feeling, right? So if I go, oh, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good right now. That might seem like a very small thing, but as I look back on the work that I've done, maybe I have a conversation with my manager and he or she says to me, you know, that presentation you did that day, it didn't really go so well. What was going on? And I might be thinking, you know, what was going on that day? Now I can click on reflection history here and actually go through all of my EQ graph and basically compare days where I might have had a bad day, days where I had a good day, and actually make an informed decision about what factors were contributing to that. As this product continues to grow, this page is very limited right now. There are going to be additional cards on here to help you better make sense of this data. It will compare automatically with maybe conflicts you had on your calendar. It will start giving you recommendations on how much time you're spending in meetings. Maybe you can cut those things back. And it's really designed to help you grow as an individual. And again, if you choose to, you can share this information with your leadership, maybe during a review or something like that. The next piece of insights is called praise, which is actually a really fun way to get people engaged no matter where or when they are on your team. Because my team and I work inside of teams, I use that word a lot, because my team and I work inside of teams, we never really felt like we were apart during the lockdown. And realistically, we've continued to work remotely and our productivity has actually skyrocketed. One of the things that contributes to that is making sure your team members stay engaged. With praise, you're able to come in here and use these pre-built badges, right? Maybe someone just had a really good presentation and you want to award them for it, or they closed a big sale and you want to send them that badge, whatever it might be. You can choose a badge here, choose who you want to send it to. So I can go like this. I can choose to send it to them privately. Some people don't like being praised publicly, right? They just want to know that you're looking out for them behind the scenes. Or I can send it to an entire team so that every member of that team, maybe my business development department, would be able to see that praise and also join in on the recognition for no matter where or when they are. So it's a really great way to actually send those out. So if I was to tell Rafe here, great job, and then I'm going to put this is a demo so he doesn't get too jazzed up, and hit preview, that's how the card's going to look when it gets sent to him. And then I can go send, and Rafe will get that delivered privately to him. Now, the benefit of using praise is if you wanted to, and you run maybe an HR department, you could create a graph off of this and turn it over to the HR team or the management team when you're doing your reviews. So you can actually see how much praise has been sent, who's got the praise, what type of praise. And we've actually turned that into a decision factor during our reviews with our team members. So really great way to recognize individuals there. You can also set reminders and schedules for all these types of activities too. So if you're a manager and you want to get reminded at a specific time to come in and check on your employees' work, making sure that you're recognizing them, you can do that right in here. All right, let's jump back.
Sorry, David, I might have missed it, but are you able to access anyone in the company? Like, let's say, like as a project manager and you're working with all the different groups, you're able to reach out, and if you worked with some guy in engineering and you want to give him some praise so that his boss can see it when it's his review time, and just let them know how great he was to work with or how terrible it was, and you know, either way, I mean,
yep. Well,
you can share that feedback.
Yes, there is no boundary of who can send praise to who. Now, you could set boundaries if you want. By default, we don't recommend that because it's really designed to get engagement going throughout the company, especially as people continue to work elsewhere. They haven't built in, Katie, the fail praise yet, but that's the one we'll use to send if we're unhappy with somebody, right? That'll be a big box on here that says fail. No, I'm kidding. That's not a real thing. The other piece in here, I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Headspace. It's a meditation and decompression app. Some of you may have used it, some of you haven't, but you're going to get a crash course on it. What Headspace is, it's all about mindfulness, right? Mastering your mindfulness, knowing when to decompress. So let's say you're getting ready for a presentation, and maybe you're not that good at presentations and you're a little nervous about it, right? You can actually come in here and go to all of your mindfulness exercises, and there's more being added all the time through Microsoft's partnership with Headspace. And you don't pay anything for this. This is all part of your Microsoft 365 subscription. There are different things you can do in here. You can do a focus session. You could prepare for a presentation, right? Where an actual life coach will come on and talk you through, help you rehearse that presentation, and really just get you into the right frame of mind to be able to conquer that whole call. If you're feeling stressed, if you're ending your day, all of those things can happen right inside of here. Or if you want to have background music added maybe to your Teams meetings or just as you're working, there are even theme tracks down here that are just designed to promote concentration. And these will rotate all the time as well. So you'll have new tracks, keep them fresh, play them in the background of your workday, and it's not the type of music that's going to disturb your coworkers either. Of course, all this stuff supports headphones too, so if you have headphones in, it'll all remain private to you. The next piece is going to be stay connected. And we're actually going to talk about these three tiles down here by going up to the stay connected tab up at the top here. So what is stay connected? Let me see if I actually have some better demo content in here from my demo tenant. Forgive my internet speed. If you live in the Northeast, there's only one provider you can get, right? Let's refresh this here. So what is staying connected? Staying connected is, again, Cortana's at work for you, right? She's coming in, she's looking at your documents, your emails, your Outlook tasks, things you might have left to do, and she's basically creating a list here for you. So what she's done is she said, oh, you know, this user, you were working with the Mark 8 project team, and they sent you an event for the social media campaign. You need to let them know if you can make it. So this dashboard is a place where Cortana is going to put all the things you may have mentally responded to, but forgot to actually take action on. These are going to be put here for you automatically. So if I move over to my instance, let's go down to my instance here, I can actually see mine has a whole bunch of data in it because I'm using it constantly, right? These are my team members. Cortana this morning, I don't have that much to follow on, but Cortana this morning is telling me, hey, you should probably set up some one-on-ones with the people you work most closely with because you haven't talked to them in a while. So she's really helping you keep that connection regardless of the physical or the distance boundary that you might be facing as a team. So right from here, she's actually making recommendations to me that automatically respect the availability of myself and this individual. So I don't have to call them and be like, hey, can we do this time? Can we do this time? Does this work for a one-on-one? It's happening here automatically, and all I need to do is hit send invite, and then that individual will have a Teams meeting sitting there waiting for them so we can complete our weekly one-on-one. And you can also set those up to be recurring as well. The next option is protecting time. Oh, I'm sorry, Katie, did you say something? Nope, okay, cool. The next option is protect time. Protecting time is probably one of the most helpful things. And to illustrate this, I'm actually going to bring you over to the backend dashboard here, and it's called Viva Analytics. With Viva Analytics, you have a whole dashboard that's keeping track of things for you, like how much time during the week you have available to focus, right? How much time is actually dedicated to you being able to work on the tasks that you have at hand, and how much time is spent working with individuals that are either creating new tasks or preventing you from getting to the tasks you've already committed to, right? So 46% of my time I have to work on my projects and things that I've committed to doing already. The rest of it is spent in meetings, right? Or working with customers, working with individuals. I'm also going to get quick access to see my overall well-being and quiet days. So what are quiet days? Let's go into some of these things. Well-being. Right here, I work all the time. You know, I'm doing all that kind of stuff, leading a team of people. So what this is basically saying is I have been able to connect and recharge 10 days this month, right? So these purple days, I did not work after hours, right? I was able to shut the computer down, I was able to decompress, and I kept my working day. Now, 18 days, I interrupted my quiet time, right? I interrupted my personal life with work stuff, and sometimes that's necessary. The hope would be that we can get more of these days purple than they are gray. That's going to contribute to better overall health, right? If I go up to focus in here, I'm able to get detailed information about my working habits, right? How many times do I have, how much time do I have to focus in here? Now, what does that mean? I can actually come in here and have Viva automatically set up time for me every single day or week, however you want to set the schedule, that respects my availability and any existing appointments and trends that I have on my calendar. And if you've ever wanted to create block time or block off time on your calendar to do your own project, you don't need to do that manually anymore, because what this service is going to do is look at the trends of your environment, of your work style, and automatically book your focus time 2 weeks in advance based on the trends of your existing calendar. So some days might be different than others, but you're always going to have that focus time booked for you that respects the availability of your customers, your team members, and yourself. Network is really exciting. So network, if you've ever wondered, how much time have I spent collaborating with these individuals, right? Either from this company or that company or internally. You'll get a 4-week history here that will basically show you how much time you've spent with certain individuals, right? Whether they're inside your company or outside your company. So I can see this 12 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours and 30 minutes, these individuals fall in that category. And that makes sense because they're my team members, right? And then I have this 3 hours and 30 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes. These folks over here fall into that. And these names make sense to me because I've been working on projects with these individuals, right? And I can also come down and view it as a list view. So I can get detailed information about how much time I spent with Peter over the last 4 weeks, what our read receipt percent is, and on average, how long does it take us to respond to each other? Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a text message, maybe it's an email, but how long does it take you to get back to each other? So that is all going to be calculated there for you. You can also break this down by external, so you can just see external people, right? If you're working with customers, people that don't have your Microsoft account. You can see new people, people that you might not have collaborated with before, and you can see people that you've marked important, right? So you can actually star people so you keep them front and center in all of the task management that you have. And down at the bottom, you will get additional recommendations in here. So, hey, you know, we found that you've been working with this gentleman or Jennifer over here, right? You want to mark them important because that will actually allow you to have them pinned all the time for yourself across the Viva ecosystem. The next piece in here is content collaboration. How do you collaborate? What are your collaboration habits? So I can see in here that I have 46% of my time available to focus, 54% of my time is spent on collaboration. I spend 4% in emails, 6% in calls and chats, and 44% of my time is spent in online meetings, right? Now, when I come down here, I can see some statistics about my meetings, right? And right now I'm looking at the habits view, but I can also change from the habits view to a granular view. So I can view detailed information about all the different categories here for each individual meeting that I've had. For example, on this session here, did I multitask? Yeah, I did. I failed that category. I didn't stay entirely focused on the meeting. Did it start on time? Yes, it did. Was it highly attended? Yep. So a bunch of statistics in here that you're able to get either as a habit view, so you can kind of see how you're progressing with baselines, or individual meeting information, right? So I use this all the time when I'm creating project plans or reviews or really anything. Then I'm also able to come down here and take a look at my communication habits. And let me actually make this a little bit bigger. So it might be a little hard to see down at the bottom. But I can see right here the habits of my communication style. And this is the average of my day. So if you look at this entire chart, it's one day, right? And it's basically saying, hey, in the morning, you do a lot of email reading, right? And then around 8 a.m., you start to send a few emails. 9 a.m., that ramps up a bit. You can kind of see, and then around 12:30, 1 o'clock area, that's where my activity really picks up. Chats and calls, meetings, emails, all that kind of stuff is tracked for me. So I'm getting a lot of insight into how I as an individual work. And over here on the right-hand side, I'm getting call outs basically. Hey, last week you spent 1.5 hours working on Office documents. Well, what are these suggestions? Oh, look, it's telling me how I can use this tool to do a bit better. Or meeting notice. Last week, you sent several calendar invitations to your colleagues last minute. Not a really good habit to be in, but sometimes it's necessary. And then it's going to coach you on how to actually make that better. And even time in meetings. You typically spend 50% of your time in meetings. That's about 22.5 hours each week. And 25% of them are recurring. So if I go in to view suggestions, maybe it's telling me, hey, those recurring meetings, you probably can't get rid of all the other meetings you have, but can you maybe work to cut those recurring regular meetings down a bit to give you more time to focus on what you need to do and what your team needs to do? Lots of stuff in this screen. The last screen that I'll go into is leadership. Now, we mentioned how in Microsoft 365, you can set properties in your profile through Azure, like your manager, your address, your position, your role, all that kind of stuff. So I have a team of people that report to me. So I have this leadership tab visible to me. If you had folks in your organization that were set to report to you, you would also have this leadership section follow up. When you come in here, you can see, what are your habits with your teams? How many of your team members are RSVPing to the invites, or is that an opportunity that you should work on, right? How many of your team members joined on time, right? So again, I can view them as habits, or I can view individual meetings that we've been a part of, right? And as I further come down, I can also see how much one-on-one time I've been spending with these individuals. So maybe I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to Sharon in a while. Let me go schedule something with Sharon just to touch base, see how we're doing. So I'm able to see all of that type of stuff from here. And even down below, it's making suggestions to me of the people that I should schedule with. So let's say I wanted to schedule that one-on-one with Sharon. Let's hit schedule one-on-one, right? Right from here, it's going to automatically launch a calendar invite for me inside of my Outlook, so I can start authoring that right away. Now, again, forgive the demo. There's some stuff I disable for that kind of thing, but it would launch that calendar, it would pull up that event, and then it would schedule it for you, just like I showed you earlier in Teams. We talked about quiet hours and focus too, of how much time you have to focus as an individual, but now you can also get overall insight into what the impact you're having on your team's quiet hours, right? Their personal time. Are you intruding on that? Are you sending them messages when maybe you could wait until the next day or something to that effect? You're getting clear insight into how all of that is happening right from here. Katie, that was my rant on insights. Any questions or fun stuff that we want to cover?
Fantastic job, David. One question that we had come in is, so you talked about connections, insights, and topics, and then we talked about learning will also be available early next year. So do you have to do, for Viva, do you have to do all 4 parts, or are you able, if you just want to pick and choose and kind of customize what your company is using, are you able to do that?
Great question. Yeah, every module can be deployed independently. You can adopt Viva as the whole thing, or you can piecemeal it out. You do not have to adopt all 4 modules.
Okay. Fantastic.
And this is definitely something where, Katie, myself, the rest of the team, we want to work with you as an organization, because this is not your traditional IT type of product, right? It's really getting into that organizational development level, which is what, we do anyways. We're all about being your virtual CIO, and we want to help you as an organization, not just implement technology, but implement technology that makes sense for you as an organization and that improves your productivity. Katie, with that, I will end my rant and turn it over to you.
All right, well, thank you so much, David. And yes, as part of that growing experience and getting started with Viva, so David talked about Yammer, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams. So if you are ready to get started, give us a call, and we are more than happy to walk you through what all of this platform can do for you, and even just using these tools and kind of getting things to be more efficient, easier to use, get everyone comfortable with it. We have training available. So please feel free to reach out if you're interested. So, or if you just have questions and just want to talk about it, see how it fits. So, and again, David, thank you so much for joining us today. So, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for viewing this episode in our series. To learn more about our next presentation, visit www.tomtechtoday.com/training webinar. We look forward to seeing you there.